This lecture will cover quality assurance and product testing. Testing throughout the development and manufacturing of apparel products ensures quality and compliance with safety regulations. Product testing leads to better quality garments and higher customer satisfaction. The practice of testing is an integral part of fiber, yarn, fabric, and finished garment production that allows firms to achieve product consistency at expected quality levels. Testing involves the methods for evaluating materials and completed products. This includes preparing specimens, performing experiments, evaluating and analyzing data to determine if the materials or products meet appearance, performance, and quality expectations as they relate to end use. Quality control is the process for ensuring specified quality levels are maintained throughout continually testing at different phases of production, performing frequent inspections, and ensuring proper use of equipment and established procedures. Procedures for testing must be strictly followed in order to provide reliable, reproducible results. Reliability refers to consistency, dependability, and reproducibility of test methods, procedures, and results from data obtained during testing. When tests are repetitively performed on the same material, consistent data should be collected in order to ensure reproducibility. Standardized test methods have been developed for textile materials by international, national, and federal agencies and organizations. Some of the main ones that we use in our industry are the International Organization for Standardization, abbreviated ISO, the American Society of Testing Materials International, the ASTM International, and the American Association of Textile Chemists and Colorists, abbreviated AATCC. And the AATCC you can join the association as a student for a small fee and get updates on what's happening in textile coloring and textile chemistry. Framework of a test method. When you're preparing to do some type of test, there are very specific standardized test methods that follow specific formats for all types of testing that's developed. So each test method is cataloged with a name and number. And depending on the organization, the naming and number will vary. The types of testing, these are the main ones that we're going to go through today. The main aesthetic and functional performance features that we're going to review is the abrasion testing, appearance and stiffness, color fastness, chromatic transfer scale, dimensional stability, safety, strength, and wear testing. Abrasion. Abrasion is one material rubbing against itself or another surface, and it can affect the appearance and strength of a garment. The three main types of abrasion and resistant tests are abrasion resistance, pilling resistance, and snagging resistance. And we'll briefly go through some of these tests. Abrasion resistance, one way to test abrasion is using the Martindale abrasion test method. And the item that this example is going to use is socks. So here is a picture of the abrasion tester. It's just a straight on view. You've got your motion plate, your head weight, the abradant holder. This is what holds the item that's going to abrade the sock. Sometimes it is a shoe insert or the sock itself, so it'll be sock rubbing on sock. And then there's the sample holder, which will hold the sock. Here's an overview of a sample abrader. There are, I think, 5 different samples. So you can cut out 5 different samples of the material you want to test and set them on different times and types of and rotations. So this one here can do 300 rotations. This can do 600. This can do 9. And then you can compare the different results based on how many circular motions it's done. So to do the Martindale abrasion test method, you need a template. And figure 3 right here is the template outline. So this is the bottom of the sock, and you need a circle. So you cut out the bottom of the sock, which is probably going to get the most amount of weight and pressure. And you put it in the sample holder, which is that circle. And this one has already gone through the abrasion test. You can see this area right here has got some abrasion. Some of the fibers are coming undone. And this is what your results would look like. Now, this isn't using the same example as the sock, but it's got the different materials. So cupro, viscose rayon, acetate, polyester, and silk, and the times rubbed. So like I was saying, you can do 300, 600. These ones did 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000. And then you can compare the results of the Martindale abrasion test to see the difference and how much abrasion each of these garments can withhold. The next type of test that I'll share with you is the pilling resistance test. And this is a brush pilling tester, this machine right here. And these little, this orange pad is where you would put a swatch of your fabric. So here's an example of an armpit where there's a lot of pilling from the brushing of the underarm to the side seam. That's a common place for a lot of pilling. So to determine how much pilling a garment can withstand is they'll cut out small squares of the material, put it down here on the bottom, and then in these top rods they'll also put the same material, and it will rub back and forth and back and forth. Instead of the Martindale approach where it was in circles, this one goes from side to side, just like it would simulate rubbing on an arm. And again, you can calculate the how many times it will rub back and forth to compare the results and see how much pilling or how much movement a specific garment can withhold. Snagging resistance. This is kind of a fun method. This is called the bean bag method. And to do this one, here's the machine that's used. You will take a swatch of fabric, pin it around within the circle, put a bean bag in there, and run it for a certain amount of series. You can have one, do 20 circulations and one do 40, and then compare the differences between the two. And here's an example of a fabric swatch that has gone through the beanbag method snagging resistance test, and you can see there are several snags on it. Appearance and stiffness. The overall look and appeal of a garment describes appearance. So when we're talking about appearance retention, that refers to the ability of material or garment to maintain its aesthetic look during wear, refurbishment, and storage. If a material is wrinkle resistant, it possesses the ability to oppose deformations that can be caused by folding or bending. When fabrics are resilient or have elasticity to bounce back from compression or deformation, they're said to have good wrinkle recovery. And when we're talking about stiffness, stiffness is the ability of a fabric to resist bending. One main appearance testing is repeated laundering. And what some manufacturers will do is if they're going to test fabric, if they're going to test fabric, you can see here the top ones are before washing and these back ones are after washing. And they'll do several repeated laundering tests to compare the appearance of the material before and after washing. Sometimes shirts can be skewed after washing, so a lot of companies will do that to look at the overall appearance. Some companies will have a new glove wash it. They will put the glove through work or, have somebody actually use it and then launder it again and compare the differences between the three for the how does the overall appearance of the glove look throughout the use and laundering of it. A type of stiffness testing is the wrinkle recovery that we were talking about. And here's an example of the machine that is used to test wrinkle recovery. This top part is a plate that comes on and off, and you can put different amounts of weight on it. And what you'll do is you'll clip your fabric to the top and to the bottom, place the weight on it, set it for a determined period of time, and then when you take it out, you will compare it to these cards that are determined by the ASTM. And you'll take your fabric, for example, it could be this wrinkled, more wrinkled, very wrinkled, and you'll compare it to these cards and give it a score. Color fastness. Color plays a significant role in the aesthetic appearance of textile and apparel products. When we say the word color fastness, it's the ability of a textile product to resist color change or loss. Color loss or change can occur by transference from another material during wear, refurbishment, or storage, or by exposure to environmental conditions such as the sunlight. Some of the ones that we'll go through, acid and alkali, chlorine and peroxide, burnt fumes, crocking, dye transfer from fabric to fabric, heat from pressing, light, and perspiration. And I'll show you some examples. Bleach can change the color of a garment. Burnt fumes, even sometimes just a tiny bit of the heat from the flame, can change the color of a fabric. Dye transfer from fabric to shoe, and here's the example. If you wear new denim, sometimes the blue from the denim will transfer onto leather shoes, or denim dye will transfer onto like a white leather couch. If your iron is too hot, heat from pressing, you can actually change the color of a garment because the fabric will be of some type of synthetic material and burn a color crease into it. Sunlight. So the environmental conditions, this is an example of a couch that's had an ottoman placed in front of it for an extended period of time, and then when the ottoman is removed, you can see the damage from the sunlight. It creates this sort of foggy discoloration, and where there hasn't been exposure, the color is still quite vibrant. And perspiration can also change the color of fabric. Safety. Safety is a major concern for the textile and apparel industry. The two main areas of concern are flammability and toxicity. Flammability refers to any textile material having the ability to combust and burn with a flame. Another safety concern that poses health risks is toxicity. Certain dyes, fibers, or finishes may be toxic, and individuals with sensitive skin tend to be more affected. Strength. The strength of garment components in relation to functionality and end use is important to evaluate to avoid fabric or seam failure. A material's tensile strength refers to the ability of a fabric to resist tension before rupturing or breaking. The main tensile tests that can be performed on textiles and apparel are bond strength, breaking strength, bursting strength, modulus, seam strength or seam slippage, and tearing strength. Standard performance specifications are established by many of the organizations that develop standard test methods, as well as individual companies or agencies wishing to set performance ratings above the minimum industry expectations. So, for example, Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour, they want their performance ratings to be above the minimum industry expectations, so they will do their own individual testing. Specification requirements are given in a list or some type of table of the minimum or maximum rating percentages and numbers to determine the acceptable performance levels for specific tests performed with regard to use. So basically what this means is that Nike will design a top and they will say the maximum amount of perspiration color fastness that we will allow after 20 uses is 3%. And so that's just an example of how they would give a maximum rating and a percentages for a specific item with regard to an end use. Some fabric finishes that would be a type of performance specification would also be water repellency. So there's an ASTM test that is conducted, and there are different grades or different levels of water repellency or water resistancy. And this is an example of the machine. There's a water funnel with a spout, and this is at a 45-degree angle with the fabric fastened down. And then these are the different grades. So grade 1, obviously, there's very little, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you're, doing rain jackets or want to design something that is going to repel water, you'll do this type of test. And companies will have different grades that they expect their garments to adhere to. Subjective testing. This subjective testing is conducted through wear testing. Wear testing is the process of a human wearing and engaging in activities appropriate for the item, and then evaluating the experience of wearing that item. Several companies conduct in-house wear testing, and some companies even have programs where they recruit non-employed personnel to evaluate items, and I'll show you a couple of those right here. New Balance has the Wear It, Test It, Improve It program, and I'll just read this to you. So New Balance has this website, and it says, do you wish your new shoes or apparel fit perfectly every time? Do you wish you had some say in how a product was designed or how it performed? Don't just wish, take action. By participating in the Wear Test program, you can help New Balance and its family of brands make its products fit and perform better. Select the brand you want to test: New Balance, PF Flyers, Dunham, Arvon, or Warrior. If you are then selected as a wear test candidate, all you have to do is wear the prototype products, test these products based on comfort, durability, and performance, and then 3, give them feedback. So you let them know what you thought. So before you can participate in subjective wear testing, you have to apply. They want to know your age, your height, your weight, your size, the activities that you participate in, and if they are testing a prototype that fits within your lifestyle and your target, and you're the target market, then you'll be selected. They'll send you a couple products, require that you wear it a certain amount of times, and then fill out surveys based on comfort, durability, and performance. And then there'll be some open-ended questions where you can give them other suggestions. Another company that does this is Brooks. They have a wear tester program where they recruit runners, and it's mostly shoes. But what's cool about Brooks is that you get to go into their biomechanics lab, and you can actually go to their corporate headquarters and participate in lab work, or you can do wear testing program, which is out on your own. But again, you have to apply to do this, and if you fit into their target market of the prototype that they're testing at that time, then you'll be selected for the program. So when you're doing in-house wear testing, it's conducted when performance is essential to the use of the end product. And most of these are, athletic clothing or functional items such as backpacks and military gear. There are 2 main ways to wear test athletic clothing. It's either through humans or through machines. So you would have a human running and wear testing, and then you would have some type of thermal mannequin also testing. So when you work with humans, you're asking for subjective feedback. This will include in-depth interviews where you ask the person about the fit, how did they feel, the overall feel in it, how much did they perceive to be sweating, did they experience any chafing, what was the overall comfort level, did they emotionally feel comfortable in it, meaning would they actually wear this out in public exercising, and then open-ended suggestions. Now, when you're doing testing on a machine, this is objective testing. And the data that these types of machine will output is the thermal resistance. And thermal resistance is how much heat the garment holds in. Machines like this can also estimate core temperature, sweat rate, and sweat patterns. And what this is called the thermal mannequin. And what these kind of mannequins can do is they can simulate a person running. So you can, do age, height, weight, and simulate a person running for, let's say, 20 minutes at 5 or 6 miles an hour, and on a flat ground. And of course, it's got to be under certain conditions. But then you can compare the subjective and objective testing for similar items. Functional items, these will also be wear tested. So for example, like backpacks, you'll have kids do wear testing, you'll have adults do wear testing, and see if they hold up. Watch how people, what types of movements they do with the backpack. So if they're going to try and reach around for a water bottle, are the pockets easy to access? Is it comfortable for the wearer? Are the straps easy to move? Are the zippers easy to open? Just simple observation, and then having people fill out questionnaires about these are also good ways to wear test. Military gear, there's a lot of really interesting testing that's done with this. For example, setting up a tent, this type of functional item will come with directions and the equipment, and a group of researchers will watch someone try and put it up to make sure that the directions are clearly communicated, that it's simple and functional, and easy to assemble. That's another type of testing that's performed. Ballistic testing, this is part of safety protective gear testing. Questions that are asked is, how can we improve these products? How can we make it lighter while still maintaining durability? The invention of Kevlar was huge in this field, but this is also a really fun area of research, working with the safety and protection aspects of apparel. So when we're testing, another way to do it is by really engaging the consumer, and the two main ways to do that are through focus groups. And again, this is a type of qualitative research where you get a group of people together. It'll be a usually very specific group, and just have a discussion about a specific item. You can do online surveys, which is quantitative research, which means you'll get a bunch of numbers. You'll get a large group, and you'll get a wide range of customers as opposed to a very specific group when you do your focus groups. And you'll get numbers because people will fill out the surveys, and they'll mark it, excellent, good, fair, or poor. And this will be 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you can evaluate a garment, if you get 4 points for every time someone marks excellent, the higher the overall score, the better the garment is. That's just one way to collect data online about a specific garment. Okay, last I want to go through some consumer trends in regards to quality. So the recession had a big impact on spending. There was less spending on luxury goods. People were purchasing key quality items that last, and style became very simplistic. Time has also been a big trend. There's unlimited access to shopping. 24/7 you can shop online. Consumers compare prices across stores. Consumers are willing to wait for sales, and they do their homework so they can get the best price. Some really important factors in clothing trends. Consumers want to be independent. There is a strong need for comfort. There's a lot of talk about fit for clothing. And then prestige. This is a new term. It's a marketing word meaning downward brand extension. So it's a combination of two words, mass and prestige. And it's been described as prestige items for the masses. So premium but attainable. The two key tenets of prestige is that they're considered luxury or premium products, And second, that they have price points that fill the gap between the mid-market and the super premium. So it's premium but attainable. So independence. The largest consumer group in the United States is women. And there's so many styles and so many brands that come out every season. Women are starting to trust their fashion instincts and try more and more to create unique looks. And the primary reason for making a purchase is price. So we want to remember that even though women want to create unique looks, ultimately the price will be a primary reason for whether or not they're going to make a purchase. Comfort. Across all age groups, people are valuing comfort over style. Relaxed dress codes and the rise in larger body sizes has further fueled the trend of comfort. So brands that can effectively combine comfort and style will be ahead of the curve. And this is starting to come back in style with the leggings and oversized shirts. So using knits, like with the leggings, and more shaping and fitting techniques will help brands create more comfortable items. Fit. Understanding fit needs of a specific consumer group is essential to retaining a loyal consumer. Poor fit and inconsistent fit are among the biggest complaints by consumers. Consistency is essential to keeping a consumer happy. For example, what would you feel like if you went to your favorite store and you no longer fit into their jeans? Not necessarily by size, but because they change the style. So let's say you always wear a size 8. You go in, you try on a size 8, but they're tighter in the thigh and for some reason a little bit baggier through the hips. So they're the right size, but the fit has changed. So you may no longer be a loyal consumer because the fit of a brand that is your favorite brand or your favorite store, no longer fits you. Prestige. I know we already went over this, but this is taking mass market and prestige retailing, mixing high income items with budget and thrift store items. And at this point in history, it's not a major risk to launch a brand at multiple price points. You're seeing a lot of designers doing this, like Michael Kors. He's got all of his different lines, and then he's even done a special for Target. Some examples of brands that have the prestige marketing approach. Tiffany & Co. They finally started their under 100 line, where women and men that might not be able to afford the really expensive Tiffany stuff can do the Tiffany under 100 and buy, rings and bracelets and other jewelry. And like Jimmy Choo did a special shoe line at H&M. This is an example of prestige because it's taking that prestige brand and bringing it down to a mass marketing level.